Hey guys, welcome back to the homestead. So today has started out as kind of a lazy day for me, I gotta admit. I slept in till 8 o'clock this morning, and that is rare. Weekends I usually get up at 6:30, that's when my alarm goes off on the weekends. I usually get up about 5 during the week. So sleeping in till 8 is definitely, yeah, lazy day for me. I've been relaxing all morning. It's about noon. It rained last night. It finally got done raining about 10 o'clock this morning. We needed that rain pretty bad. So anyway, today what I'm going to be doing something pretty lazy and easy. Continue on with that same theme, I guess. But I'm going to be messing with the pig feed. So we've got our feeder pigs that we're raising this year. And last year I bought some pre-made pig feed from the feed mill. And I'm trying to get the cost of raising the pigs down. So we've decided to try to mix our own feed this year just by buying a few ingredients and mixing it together. And just going to be 3 ingredients is all it's going to be to make the pig feed. And we're going to have 2 different recipes for the pig feed. So there's going to be a piglet recipe for when they're young, like what they are right now, up to about 60 pounds. It's going to be a 20% protein mix in that pig feed. And then there'll be a grower feed from about 60 pounds to butcher size. And then that one will end up being about a 16% protein feed. So anyway, this recipe is all based on weight. So we're gonna have to go in there, kind of weigh out the ingredients, and we're gonna try to do some things to make it repeatable so I don't have to get out of scale every time, so we can just quickly go in there, scoop out the feed, mix it together. So get it kind of set up so it's easy to make. So let's go ahead and go in the barn and get making some pig feed. So our first ingredient is gonna be cracked corn. So we're using cracked corn over regular whole corn because it's just more digestible. There we go, 20 pounds of cracked corn. So I'm gonna put a line on the inside of the bucket. So put a line on the outside of the bucket. Somewhere in there. All right, so we got our bucket marked for 20 pounds of cracked corn. So we'll dump that in our trash can that we're mixing it in. So our next ingredient is gonna be soybean meal. I found that soybean meal is actually kind of hard to find. They don't really sell it at the store. Seems like the only place I could find soybean meal was actually at a feed mill. So we're going to be adding 10 pounds of soybean meal to this batch. There we go. 10 pounds of soybean meal. Right there. Add that to the batch. So I've got 20 pounds worth of corn and I've got 10 pounds worth of soybean meal in our mix so far. And the third ingredient is going to be trace minerals. So I've got this Champion's Choice trace mineral salt, and it is rated for pigs. I had a hard time finding any minerals at the farm store that listed pigs as being one of the animals you could feed it to. And I looked this up on the website and tried to find out roughly how much you should use. And what I kind of came up with through my research is that I should only use about 0.5% of the feed weight in minerals. So we got a 30-pound batch of feed, so we're really only going to add about 2 ounces of this mineral salt. So it's a real small amount. So I only need this little bitty solo cup to measure it out. So I'm going to re-zero my scale for this cup and then measure out 2 ounces of the mineral salt. Now this 50-pound bag, that's quite a bit of mineral there. That'll last me the whole time that I have the pigs. So it goes a long way. So that looks like about 2 ounces. You see it's just not very much in the cup. So that's all I need. So I've got the inside of my cup all marked. We'll go ahead and add the salt. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix this up. I think that's mixed up pretty good. So now that I've got the lines marked on that bucket, I was able to mix up a second batch in like 2 minutes. So that was the piglet recipe. So there is another recipe for when they're 60 pounds and higher. It's the grower or grow out recipe. It's only about 16% protein. So basically it's less soybean meal. So it is 20 pounds of corn and only 5 pounds of soybean meal, and then the same 2 ounces of mineral. So it's pretty much exactly the same, except soybean meal went from 10 pounds to 5 pounds. And this is just the recipes that I'm using. These are ones I've calculated out, and they may or may not be right. This is kind of an experiment, so we'll see how it goes this year. You know, and plus we'll see how they end up when they get butchered after it's all done and said. So we'll also probably see how much the savings was. I'll probably compare my feed costs from last year to this year and see what the difference is. But hopefully it's worth all the effort that we're doing to mix our own feed. We'll just have to wait and see. So now that we've got it mixed up, what we're going to do is we're going to put that in a bowl, probably put some water with it, make it into a mash, and then feed it to the pigs. So it looks like the pigs approve of the feed. They're gobbling it right down. So I obviously can't leave the food out here where all the animals can get to it, because all the chickens and the goats and everybody would be eating it. And it's not good for goats to be able to eat the corn. So normally what I would do is I'll put that feed bowl in their pen, and then I'll just lock them in there and let them eat their food and in their stall, and keep the other animals from getting to it. No. So that's kind of the problem with all these animals in the same spot. So we've got to police their food. So let me go ahead and just move this inside where the pigs can eat in peace. Well, hopefully we won't have the pigs in the barnyard much longer. We'll get them get a little bit bigger, and then we'll move them out to their own place. But it's been interesting seeing them in the barnyard with all these other animals. So for some reason, them and the cats just rub all over each other. And then the dogs, like, they'll lick each other through the fence and stuff. So it's kind of funny because the pigs, they do seem to get along with most of the animals except for the goats. The goats hate the pigs being here. Gracie, she will, if the pigs get near them, she'll headbutt them. So she don't like them around at all. So another reason why we'll need to get them out of here. But just waiting for them to get maybe just a little bit bigger before we move them out. But it has been interesting seeing all these different animals interact. So before we end the video, I wanted to show you the goat pen up front. We expanded that goat pen with some netting. And I just want to show you how well those boy goats have pretty much cleaned the place up. They've done a really good job of cleaning the brush, way better than these girl goats have done. So let's go up and see the boys. As you can see, we've added more electric netting up here for the boy goats, and they've got quite a bit bigger area than they had before. So this netting is kind of, can't remember what it's called, electrostop netting or something. It's basically for sheep and goats. See, it's got a lot wider spacing. It's a lot easier to carry around. It's a little bit lighter than the poultry netting. But this was all brushy and really tall grass, and these goats have cleared it out. And they're doing a good job clearing this area right here. But pretty happy with the amount of area we've got the boy goats now. At least it's a little bit bigger than before. So here you can see the difference between the poultry netting is on the right, and this is the electrostop netting. This, of course, the poultry netting's got way more strands in it to keep in chickens. And then this one's got less strands, and then it's 6 inches shorter. And this one is like 26.5 pounds to carry around, and this one's only 18 pounds. And I'll tell you what, 8 pounds makes a big difference when you're rolling out 164 feet of netting. So I guess my point would be, I guess you wouldn't buy the poultry netting unless it was really for chickens. It's just, I think it's a little bit cheaper, and it weighs less if you get the correct netting for your sheep and goats and buy this electrostop netting instead. So the other evening we moved the fence where the girl goats were, and they did not clean out their area as well as these boys have. So they've had this for about a month, and they've been keeping their whole area pretty well knocked down. So they were doing a good job. So we did get the boys a, since the water hydrant's now inside their pen, we got them a 25-gallon trough. So I've been wanting to show you that area up front with the boy goats for a while. Me and Rebecca, we went up there and we rearranged that whole pen. We added that second roll of netting and we filmed the whole thing. But my main camera, the microphone didn't work, so I didn't have any sound, no dialogue. So I wasn't able to make a YouTube video out of it. And I've been wanting to show it off ever since because the boy goats got such a bigger area than they had before. Earlier with that, just that one roll of netting, they had such a small area. It was kind of ashamed of it, you know. They just didn't have enough area. And that second roll of netting just opened it up quite a bit. And they got quite a bit more room now to be able to free range and graze a little bit. So it's amazing how much a second roll of netting makes. So if you have one roll of netting in a square compared to 2 rolls of netting making a square, that second roll of netting ends up 4 times the amount of space as one roll of netting. It's kind of weird how that math works out, but that's how it does. That second roll of netting you end up quadrupling your amount of square footage. So it's definitely worth getting the second roll. I think one roll of netting is really only good for maybe a chicken tractor or a chicken coop that you're trying to move around and keep chickens and stuff in. I think that would work good for that. But if you have like sheep or goats that need to graze on the grass and browse, you definitely would want at least 2 rolls of netting. That way you gave them a nice big area. And yeah, I think if I was to go back and do it again, I definitely would have got 2 rolls, and I would have got that electric stop netting for the goats because that 8 pounds difference is just way easier moving it around. But yeah, I've been wanting to show you guys that area for a while. At least the boy goats have a nice big area now, and they're enjoying it quite a bit. So for the pig feed, that was my own homemade recipe. I basically looked up what the protein percentage was in corn and in soybean meal, and I put that into a spreadsheet, made a little calculator up, and kind of came up with my own mixture. So I'm not going to guarantee it's 100% correct, you know. I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that, but this is the pig feed that I'm going to be using this year, and we'll wait and see how well it works, and we'll see how the pigs turn out in the end. And I should be saving a little bit of money, you know, in the process of mixing this feed. So, you know, today is just kind of a lazy day for me. You know, it's Father's Day today, so I'm kind of taking it easy and relaxing. So I hope you guys had a happy Father's Day. I'm sure this video is going to come out several days after Father's Day, but I hope you guys all had a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.